All right, part 5 of the objection handling module. And we've been through parts 1 and 4, which was budget, needs, timeline, and trust. Number 5 is really technically industry specific. So you're going to have the two biggest industry technical questions that come to you, which are technical objections in your quotes, which is fine, right? And I can't tell you exactly what those are going to be for you. However, I'm going to try and help you figure those out today. Now, really, the buckets that we're looking at here is going to be product differences, quality, delivery method, and then reviews slash social noise, right? Like, what are they hearing about our competitors that makes us different from them? So those are really the biggest buckets. But, I used to get this quite a bit in sales where customers would ask me technical questions, but it wasn't really technical questions. It was just more so the customer trying to sound like they knew what they were talking about, but also probably got a bit too deep on Reddit or something like that, where they heard something about a certain product and it wasn't good, or or it was bad for your health or something like that. We used to get this a lot with like VOCs, right? Like, is there going to be a lot of VOC, volatile organic compound, in the paint that you use? And am I going to be able to smell it? And is it going to give me a headache? Or, I'm really sensitive or allergic. Those were most of the ones that we would get. For you, this could be something along the lines of, well, how do you guys do install? Or when do you take your templates? Do you do it pre or do you do it post the flooring going in? This is really where you get to establish yourself as an expert. And I'm going to teach you a couple of ways to overcome these technical objections. So let's talk about like differences, right? Like either differences between our products or differences between us and another competitor, or differences between our delivery method. This is the big one. I'm going to admit that we're different in almost every sense, because we don't want to do what everybody else does. We want to help our clients to see that we do things differently because it's the right way and because we get a guaranteed result. Just because it's different doesn't mean that it's wrong. However, there is going to be a way that makes sense and a way that doesn't make sense to the customer, and it's up to us to educate as the experts on how we actually do these things. So I'll say, hey, yeah, actually, we're really proud of that. We're proud that we're different. And do you know why we're different? And I'm going to just sit back and shut up. You know why or how we are different? And I'm going to let the customer explain it to me. And what that's going to do is it's going to let me know what they're thinking, why they think we're different. So if they say, well, hey, listen, your install method is a little bit different from Tony's install method over at ABC Cabinets. And you go, yeah, why do you think we're different? I'm going to have a little smile on my face like this. Why do you think we're different? And what that's going to do is it's going to force the client to go, oh, well, why would he do it this way? And why would he do it that? Right. Okay. Maybe there's a quality thing, or maybe there's a, whatever. Again, this is so that the customer can explain their point of view. And I'm not going to bury them in jargon or, technical terms that they might not understand. Not yet, anyway. If I am getting a sense that a customer is trying to ask a question just because they're trying to sound educated on this, then maybe I would start dropping a bit more jargon if they're claiming to be educated on this. But realistically, I want to understand my customer's point of view. Like, what's different and why is that scaring you? That's the real objective here. The objective is to say, why is our process scaring you compared to theirs? Did they do something differently? Here's an example on delivery, right? So let's say that the customer says, well, those other guys, they install both the same day. Why do you do it a week apart, right? Why did they take their template and install on the same day? Well, you could say something along the lines of, well, pre-cutting is cheaper and it's faster, but you risk big gaps afterwards, right? There's an example. You're going to be staring at caulking for the next 20 years if you do it that way. However, when we do it, we make sure we take our template and we double check everything on install day to make sure there's no major gaps. Again, we see this all the time as contractors when it's supposed to be one way based on the plans, but when we get there, it's totally different, right? Or there's something that's off. What I need to decide is, do I want to be the one that fixes that and makes it look great? Now, we used to see this a lot in the painting industry, especially when it came to, baseboards and stuff like that. Yeah, we paint walls, we do baseboards and we do doors, but you've said that your flooring guy does your baseboards for you. What does that mean? Does that mean the same as what we're saying, where the holes are filled, they're caulked, they're painted, two coats, semi-gloss? Or are they just going to throw the baseboards back on once they're done? Because then you're getting left with those baseboards. You're going to have to call me back and I'll have to come and do them. Again, I'm trying not to overcomplicate this, but realistically, I should know what those two technical industry things are. For me, it was VOCs, and a lot of it was to do with flooring guys coming in saying that they're going to do the baseboards. What does that mean? Those were the major ones that we usually saw. So again, in a cabinet maker setting, it would kind of be like we template after so that the stone fits the walls or the stone fits the cabinet specifically for that tile that you used. And if this was a rental, then yeah, for sure, we wouldn't really care. But for your family home, probably wouldn't recommend that, right? Which one would you prefer? And I'm always going to put it back on the customer. What would you prefer? Would you prefer I did it that way as well? Or would you prefer that I did it my way and I get my guaranteed result that I'm promising you? And you're probably going to find that a lot of the time the customer is going to say, no, let's just go with your way. You know what you're doing kind of thing. Now, like I said, if the customer comes back and they're talking about kind of technical jargon or they're using words and you can tell that they don't 100% know what they're talking about. Again, you don't want to shame them, but you do want to display that you know more about the technicalities than they do. And when I used to get clients that came to me and they'd say, "Oh, I've heard that VOC is really bad." Well, that's a big piece of paint, right? Like the volatile organic compounds. And this is where I would go into basically show that I'm the expert in this and I am aware of VOC and I'm aware of your concern, but I have a plan for how I'm going to remediate that. Could be, for example, we're painting a kid's room and what we're going to do. And I say, well, typically we use this paint. It's got this much VOC, or volatile organic compounds in it. It disperses at this rate with a cracked window at this size, and it should be gone in about 45 minutes. Okay, I'm creating peace of mind, but I'm showing the customer, hey, yeah, that's a technical concern. I have that concern too, but I also have a system and a process set up to deal with that so that you don't have to worry about it. Again, sales is mostly about how convenient are you going to be, how nice is the person that I'm getting this from, and how much do I like them. And then lastly, it should be the price. And if you've got the right customer, that's the exact order that they're going to go in. Convenience, trust, price. It's going to be in that order if you've got the right type of client that you're working with. So be careful of that. Right? A couple of tips here for you. If you've went through this entire series and you've started with part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, and you're listening to this, just to add some more context to the other 4 episodes that we've already recorded. We've talked about price. We've talked about a little bit about margin and getting your pricing right. We've talked about your start date and your timeline. One little tip I will give you as someone who's sold millions of dollars worth of products to homeowners specifically is when you walk in, none of these things should be a guess to you. You should already roughly know what's your target price that you're trying to sell this project for based on the qualification call and the scope that they gave you before. When's your start date? You should know your production schedule. You should know immediately if you can't meet a customer's deadline. You should know what your production schedule looks like. And then you should know what your desired margin is for that project as well, because that number is going to help you price it. If I walk into a house knowing that I need to make a 50% gross margin, I can always use that 50% gross as my anchor point to my price. Again, 50% margin would take the price and double it, right? That's 50%. So again, I'm going to be making sure that I know all these things before I walk into the customer's house and start dropping prices and stuff. I need to set the target and then hit it. That's my goal as a business owner. Now, bonus stuff for you guys. Quick exercise that you can do. I'm going to give you 5 lines that you can memorize and start to practice, okay? And I want you should be doing this every day. Maybe make yourself a flashcard, or maybe we'll even throw up a flashcard in the school course here for you to download and you can print it off. But practice these 5 lines, okay? We call this the 5x5 drill when it comes to sales. It's 5 days a week, 5 minutes a day, and it's 5 lines. How far apart are we? How far apart are we? That's a price objection, right? Which part should we change? That's a price objection, right? Changing the scope. Which part should we change? So how far apart are we from price, from where we came to what you were hoping to spend? Which part should we change? Is this about price, quality, or speed? That's another one. Hey, is this about price, or is it quality, or is it speed? What do you think? Do you feel like we're not going to hit your timeline? Is it about the quality, or do you have concerns? Or is this just too expensive? Right? Get used to asking that. What worries you most about the timeline? What worries you most about the timeline? And do you know why we're different? Right? If you say, oh, those guys over there do it a little bit differently. Do you know why we're different? Or why do you think we're different than they are? With a little smile, remember. Why do you think we're different? And if you practice these, and a really good exercise is to do what we call an audio audit, a video and audio audit. This is where you take your phone, you record yourself doing these 5 lines, you end the recording, you hit play, you put your phone down and you don't watch the video and you're just audio auditing it. You're listening to how you say things. You're listening to how you actually present those questions to your customer. Then once you make some notes, yeah, I didn't say that properly, or that what sounded weird, whatever. You make your notes, and then we turn the video on, and we watch the video and we listen to it and we watch what our face is doing. We watch what our hands are doing at all times. You know, like what does my tonality and body language look like when I'm asking these questions? Then the final part of this is to turn the audio off, turn your volume all the way down, and just watch the video, right? What does it look like when there's no audio to it? What am I doing with my face, with my hands? You know, do I look aggressive? Do I look, happy? Really edit yourself or audit yourself to say, how is this actually looking? Another one is filler words, right? We want to kill filler words. I do this all the time, and you would have noticed this in these videos. I always start with so, and I always go right, as if to get you to agree with me. These are filler words that I am trying to fix, in these videos, and it's been a long time in the works. Definitely since I started podcasting and since I started making these videos, I became a lot more aware of my filler words that I use and I lean on, and I'm actively trying to stop using them. So again, it's like a script. It's like you have to practice. You need to get out there and you need to actually put these into practice when you're out in the sales field. These are going to help you become a great salesperson. You're going to be closing more jobs. You're going to be handling more objections. Your customers are going to be happier. Your customers are going to have more peace of mind. Becoming a good salesperson doesn't just mean selling more. It also means becoming better at what you're selling, or investing more in what you're selling and in yourself, and becoming a good objection handler. Think of yourself as someone who creates peace of mind. Who wouldn't want to be a person who creates peace of mind? Okay, and that's the whole game. That's the 6 objections, simple lines, controlled silences. You should be taking these and sharing them with your team or anyone who's got anything to do with sales. Maybe even sit down and role play with them a little bit and coach them, teach them how to handle objections. You can't just send them out there. But even if you're a single business owner and the only person in sales, this is why it's so important. We want to make sure that when you go out to sell, that you're giving yourself the best shot at selling. This isn't just about the price. It's not just about the ideal customer. It's also about your sales ability as well, which includes objection handling. So don't immediately drop your price because you're not closing deals. Ask yourself, could I get better at selling? Or can I sell to somebody else first? Ask yourself those 2 questions first, and then only then, when you've said, I'm selling to the right person, and I am a good salesperson who knows how to handle objections, can I then drop my price? Never make your price the first thing that you drop. Okay, subscribe for the next module. Make sure that you're part of the school course. Link is in the show notes. Go learn everything there is to learn about sales, finance, recruitment, culture. Everything that you're going to need to be a great business owner is in the school course. All the answers are there. Go jump in, start learning, start developing yourself. And if you need me, you can find me at www.conquercontractorchaos.com. I am your host, Lee. It's been a pleasure teaching you how to handle objections, and I will see you guys in the next course or in the next video. Thanks for your time. Take care. Chat soon.